In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Keynote app to create animated movies. Yes, animated movies. What do I mean by that? Let me show you an example. If I double click my home screen and go to my photos, this is what I mean by an animated movie. I have various objects. They appear in different ways and all together have turned into a movie on my camera roll. Wow. How did I do that? Let me show you. We're going to begin in the Keynote app. And one of the great things about the Keynote app is you can do a whole lot of things with it. This slide shows you the original raw Keynote from the movie I just demonstrated, I just played for you. But let's start at the beginning. How do we add those elements and how do we animate them and then export them as a movie? Step one is to add all the elements that you like. Remember, to add elements, you're going to use the plus sign. And I hopped over one button to the left so I could use all the clip art. And the first thing I did was add the picture of the woman. So I went to people and there she is. And she hopped in there and I just clicked and dragged and made her a little bit bigger. Okay, the second thing I wanted to add is I wanted to add the speech bubble, and I think that was in the basic section. I added the speech bubble, and you notice that one came in as black as well. And then I went up to the format paintbrush, which you can format anything, and as long as I have the style button pressed, I turned it pink. So now she is still black and the speech bubble is pink. Okay, so those were the first things I did. The other thing I did is, you'll notice some of the other things I added multiple speech bubbles, but you notice that these objects are actually line drawings. So in order to add a line drawing, I went up here, and to add a line drawing, you have to be pushed on the second button here and came down and clicked drawing, and then I picked a crayon. And let's see, we'll go with a thick crayon, and I'm just going to say hello, because it doesn't matter what I draw with a line drawing. So let's see if we can animate. Whoops. Don't forget the undo button. That's a great button. Remember, once you add a line drawing, you have to go up here and click done to get out of it. And now both your line drawing and your objects are all separate elements that can be animated. So how on earth did I do that so they all just come in automatically? Well, here is exactly what I did. I selected one object to begin, and once I select the object, the menu that appears at the top, there's a word animate. Once I click on animate, I have three choices at the bottom. How do you want it to appear or build in? What do you want it to do while it's on the page? And how do you want it to disappear? So you can decide all those things. We're going to begin by building it in, and look at all the choices of how I can build things in. It is unbelievable, and you can tap on any of them. You can see the ones that I've used most recently appear here, but things like blur and what that might look like, things like compress, what that might look like. Some of them don't look like a whole lot. Some of them can be very dramatic, okay? And you can decide what you like. Fly in is a fun one too, because people can fly from all different areas. Blinds, you can try all these things out. So what you would do is you would select the one, and I think I selected shimmer for her to come in. And all you do is select it, and then you go ahead and you click done. Okay, so now I've animated that first shape. All right, so now I can pick the second shape. I think I want this one to come in next. I'll tap on this, I'll click animate. I get the same three things at the bottom. I'm going to do a build in, and this one I'm going to select pop. So now this one is going to pop. And now let's go ahead. Don't forget, I have to say done in order for it to take. Now let's go select the third object, tap animate, And this time, I'm going to use line drawing for this one, and it's actually going to write it exactly the way I wrote it, okay, which is a pretty cool way to do it. So now, before I say done, I want to look up here in between done and play. There are these little lines, and if I open them, they are going to show me all the different builds. Now what's interesting is you only see 2 here because I didn't hit the done button. Okay, I have to hit done first to make the animation take, and then when I go into animate and I go to this list, you will see each of these 3, and I can put them in different order. So right now the woman is coming in first on a tap, and then the quote bubble comes second on a tap. But maybe I don't want to tap it. Maybe I just want it to happen automatically after the first build. And maybe the drawing I want to happen with the quote bubble. So if I select with, now these things are all going to happen automatically. But what if I want the line drawing to come before the quote bubble? I can just rest my finger on it and pull and reorganize it. So now let's try preview, see what happens. Look at that. Look at that. And they come in order. So you can decide exactly how all of these things are going to go together. And you can even decide on a delay. You can delay this for a couple seconds. These are our decimals here, so you can delay 1 second or less. The drawing, remember, you can decide if 4 seconds is too slow. I can go 2 seconds and it'll draw in very quickly at 2 seconds. I'm going to say no acceleration, and then let's get another preview. Let's say done, and we'll say animate again, and let's play, see what happens. Now the first one I have to tap to trigger everything. I'm not sure I like that, but you get the idea. So any element that can be added to Keynote can then be animated. And then once you have multiple items animated, you can look at the build order, and you can decide if you want to move them and how you want them triggered and in what order you want them. It also gets really interesting when you add an additional animation to an object. So notice you have 3 different animations you can add to any object. So while she shimmers in, I could have her fly out. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, and if I'm going to click the X here, she's going to fly out. And again, if I tap on fly out, I can decide which way she's flying out. Look at that, from the button, from the bottom. I don't want it to happen on a tap. I want it to happen after build 3. And now what's interesting, if I look at my build order, this becomes a whole separate animation in the list. Even though both of them are happening to one object, you see first she's going to shimmer in, the quote bubble's going to pop, the line drawing's going to draw, and then the woman's going to fly out. And let's see how that looks. Preview, shimmer, pop, line draw, fly out. And this is exactly how you can make an animation with Keynote. At the very end, when you're happy with all your animations, what you're going to do once you click done and you are in this mode, you're going to hit the 3 dots and you're going to export, and you're going to export it as a movie. And once you export it as a movie, you hit export and it will go right down to your camera roll, which is where you want it to be. So it becomes a movie on your camera roll that you can then share and put anywhere. And that is exactly how you go ahead, save video. It's exactly how you use Keynote to add elements and build animation that can be exported as a movie.